Uh, it's just one great Hot 100 after another. When you're talking about the 60s, there's not going to ever be a decade like the 60s ever again. The music, the creativity in the music, this is just something that happens like once every 100 or 200 years. You got to be realistic. Every decade has its great songs, but there's something special about the 60s. There'll always be special about the 60s. And this Billboard's Hot 100, let me bring this thing up. The song coming in at number, it's moving down. It peaked at number 13, but it's moving down the week of December 31st, 1966. Down to, it peaked at 13, dropped to 15, down to 28, then dropped down to number 46. Hazy Shade of Winter by Simon and Garfunkel. This is just absolutely, I, I pulled up the lyric sheet to this. I'm gonna read this is the soundtrack of the 60s. A classic soundtrack of the 60s in its own way. Here it is. Time, 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 see what's become of me. While I look around for my possibilities, I was so hard to please. But look around, leaves are brown, and the sky is a hazy shade of winter. And one of the most brilliant lyrics, one of the most creative lyrics, one of the most profound moments in the 60s, right here, right here. The grass is high, the fields are ripe, and it's the springtime of my life. Seasons change with the scenery, weaving time in a tapestry. Won't you stop and remember me at any convenient time? Funny how my memory skips, looking over manuscripts of unpublished rhyme. God, dog it, you just. Paul Simon was a genius. Those are genius lyrics, my friend. Pure and simple. Hazy Shade of Winter. The interesting thing about this was a standalone song. It was recorded in sessions for the Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme album in 1966, but it was not included in that album. It wasn't until Bookings came out in 1968 when that song was included. It was Simon and Garfunkel's fourth album, and Simon and Garfunkel, late 65. Sounds of Silence, sort of electrified, an upbeat version of an earlier song that they cut, Sound of Silence. Then there was Homeward Bound in the winter and spring of 66. And then, of course, the brilliant, the genius, I Am a Rock in the spring of 1966. And then you got the Dangling Conversation, one of the most cerebral songs that ever came out, the Dangling Conversation in the summer of 66. And then fall of 66. You got to put this in perspective. Think about this. You had the Beatles, you had the Supremes coming out with one hit after another. It doesn't matter what season you're in, winter, spring, summer, fall. You turn on that AM radio, you listen to your favorite AM radio station. You had a song by the Supremes on there. There was a hit by the Supremes, hit by the Beatles, the Rolling Stones in 1966. You had 19th Nervous Breakdown, Paint It Black, Lady Jane. Have You Seen Your Mother? Standing in the Shadows in the fall of 66, same thing with Simon and Garfunkel. 1966. One of the best damn years ever in pop music. Well, I guess that's all I got to say about this record. Here it is. Here's another thing. Not only are the lyrics creative, not only are the lyrics brilliant and imaginative, not only are they storytelling, but it's set on a solid rock and roll beat. Simon and Garfunkel, Hazy Shade of Winter.